Notre Dame. Today's creative sports presentation of Big East Conference basketball features the Huskies of the University of Connecticut taking on the Fighting Irish of Notre Dame. Let's take a quick look at the Big East standings, the Big East 6 specifically, and you can see the importance of this game for both of these clubs if either of these teams hopes to be playing come March. Hello again, everybody. I'm Mike Gorman along with Leo Routens. Let's talk first, Leo, if we can, about the Connecticut Huskies. There have been more bends in the road than they counted on this year.
Boy, it's really been a struggle for Jim Calhoun. Mike, injuries, suspensions. You can see that the lowest scoring in Big East play. They have, since Jim Calhoun has been the coach, only 7 freshmen have played 25 minutes or more. This year he has 2 players playing that many minutes, and you look at Jim Calhoun's NCAA streak could be in jeopardy, especially with Rashmal Jones still out with the injury.
Absolutely, and Notre Dame, of course, still trying to find their way a little bit in the Big East, but playing better of late.
Well, Notre Dame is playing better. They beat St. John's in a big game Tuesday night. Admore White really stepped up. Somebody has to step up for Pat Garrity because the defense is really focused on him, but they do play hard. They play good position defense, and John McLeod really is on the hot seat right now and needs a few more wins.
Okay, 2 teams that are defensively very sound. Probably not a whole lot of points this afternoon, but it should be interesting. Sit back and relax. We'll have the starting lineups between the Connecticut Huskies and the Fighting Irish right after these words. We are just about set to go here on a Saturday afternoon at the Joyce Center. Ted Valentine, the lead official here this afternoon. Let's take a look at the starting lineups. First for the Connecticut Huskies, Freeman, Voskuhl, Moore, Carson, and they look to Richard Hamilton for the offense, Leo.
Well, Richard Hamilton takes the most amount of threes for the Connecticut Huskies and shooting pretty well, 35% from long range.
Jim Calhoun, outstanding record at Connecticut. Had a chance to talk with Jim for about a half hour before the game. We'll relay a lot of that as the afternoon progresses. For the Irish of Notre Dame, Manor, Gotch, White, Miller, and Pat Garrity. More and more people thinking this kid is a very legitimate, not only academic, but basketball All-America candidate.
I tell you, he really is, Mike. He's such a solid player at both ends of the court. He can go inside, he can go outside, and always gives you 110%.
And John McLeod would dearly like to get this team to some sort of postseason play.
Absolutely. You know, I mentioned he's in the hot seat, but they've matched last year's Big East total in wins already this season with 4.
UConn pitching the shutout so far in terms of a series history, sweeping by identical 85-65 scores last year. Freeman and Gotch are going to jump it up, and we're underway on a Saturday afternoon. Hamilton controls the tap, gets it back to Ricky Moore.
Like one of the things that Jim Calhoun mentioned to us last year, they were successful against Notre Dame because they attacked with full court pressure, baseline to baseline, right from the beginning of the game. And Notre Dame has trouble with that. But this year, because of the personnel and the limit on the bodies he has, he can't really do that.
Voskuhl, a heck of a screen, but Hamilton can't hit the jump shot. Voskuhl keeps the rebound alive, but it's pulled down in there by Garrity. Here's White now the other way.
Notre Dame has to be patient offensively. They'll work the ball around, try to get Garrity, but they will always set a lot of different screens.
Gotch, pass inside, too tough to handle. Hamilton able to save it from going out of bounds. And Dion Carson getting the start instead of Rashmal Jones gets it ahead. Now White to Voskuhl for 2.
Voskuhl, I really like this guy, Mike. You talk about a guy giving you the effort every single night. He comes to play, he works hard, and we're getting very valuable experience as a freshman.
Rashmal Jones, of course, leads the Huskies in points per game, is arguably their best defender, but with the sprained MCL in the left knee, he is not going to be playing probably for another 3 or 4 days. The doctors originally had said 10 to 14 days. This is 7 days since they have said it. Jim Calhoun had hoped that maybe they would get Rashmal Jones back. Now Teddy Valentine has a ball with enough air in it. Always important.
Something about that ball coming back to your hand when it hits the floor. No, but, you know, Jim Calhoun has said that Rashmal Jones is the heart and soul of the team. He's the best scorer, the best defender, and the hardest worker of the team. When you lose a guy like that, that really hurts.
Ricky Moore coming up with the turnover, takes it strong to the basket and gets 2.
There's that full court pressure. Notre Dame has a very difficult time with full court pressure. The one guy that can really handle it is Admore White, but even he's not thrilled about handling it against that full court pressure.
Gotch gets it to Garrity. Garrity needs to make that shot this afternoon, and he does.
Well, that was a good job of getting the ball into the middle. And Garrity can't square up and pull up and hit that jump shot even on the full run.
We showed you in that graphic off the top, Ardmore White, a guy who seems when he steps up, the Irish play very well. That's going to be a travel on Voskuhl, making the catch in the lane. But Garrity can't be the whole offense for this Notre Dame team.
Well, all the defenses in the Big East, they're so focused on Pat Garrity. They come at him. They're very physical with him. They attack him. They throw different looks at him. and he starts to get very frustrated. So different players like White, Pete Miller, who stepped up big against St. John's Tuesday night, had 13 points. Other players have to do it.
Manor inside for 2. Nice speed there from Gotch.
With Derek Manor, he's never going to stop moving. He'll always get to that open spot.
You were telling me before the game, Manor, one of those guys who would drive you crazy if you had to play against him.
You don't want to play against him. You look at him and say, I got this guy. But he's going to drive you nuts, and he's big enough and strong enough to get physical with you, and he'll always be in your face.
Moore unable to shake White. Manor defensively right now is playing Richard Hamilton of UConn. Carson in traffic, kicks it back. Moore fakes the 3. Freeman will take the 2. Back rims it. Boxkill there on the offensive glass. This kid's getting a lot of minutes and getting better and better every week. Freeman down low. That's his game. Boskill's follow. Once, twice. Couldn't get it to stay. Loose ball. Carson gets stripped. Out of the pack is Miller. He's got White and Garrity with him. Finds Garrity. And Pat will get to the line. Hamilton will pick up the foul.
Great job by Pete Miller to hesitate, allow Pat Garrity to get down there. He used Admore White as a decoy in the middle and threw it right over the defense. Great job by the senior guard, Pete Miller. And you can see Pat Garrity, Mike, you talk about wanting to play in the NBA, taking your game to the next level. If you're big, you got to be able to run the court. Garrity can get up and down the court, plays both ends, and of course, when you have that shot, it's a big bonus.
You don't exactly think of the alley-oop when you think of Pat Garrity.
No, you don't. No, absolutely not. But he does have some skills. He does have some physical skills where, again, he can run. He's not a great jumper, but he gets up.
He's got a great stroke, and he's got a great mind for the game, too. A legitimate academic All-American.
Yeah, was it 3.7 in biochemistry? I'll pass on that one.
Yeah, that was one of those. You avoided that one. I know I did. Carson, Boskell, Hardnett into the game, misses the jump shot. And the foul is going against, looks like it's going to go against Miller underneath. Yep.
You can see the trouble Connecticut has shooting the basketball. They get a lot of good looks. They move the ball pretty well. They just have so much trouble putting it in the basket.
UConn shooting 38% as a team to this point in the season. Carson, oh, that's big.
That'll help. Jim Calhoun has said Carson is one of the better pure shooters on the team, but he really struggles with his shot. Hasn't been able to knock it down this season.
About 13% shooting.
That's a struggle. I see now Notre Dame turn the ball over. What they will do for an intelligent team that plays a lot of control basketball, they will have some unforced turnovers, which is really uncharacteristic for the way they should play. But you're going to get a good job right there. Pete Miller is another one of those guys, much like Derek Manor. Not a tremendous amount of talent, but hard work. He's there. He'll take the position. Very smart player on the court.
You were telling me they're one of the better, they being Notre Dame, one of the better position defensive teams you've seen in a long time.
That's right. What most teams will do, as we get a look at the numbers shooting, they will try to steal the ball. They'll try to block a lot of shots. Notre Dame doesn't. Oh, great pass inside.
Excellent feed.
But they play position, Mike. They'll just stay between their man and the basket. And they won't try to make a lot of steals, but they'll just keep their body between them and the basket. And it's very successful because teams don't see it that often. And there we get another forced turnover.
And that was a good example of what you were talking about, is White really just moved his feet. Here's that last basket. Good look inside. And
excellent pass.
Garrity with the hops there on the finish.
A pass right to the outside hand away from the defense.
Nice catch by Garrity on that particular play. Gotch thought about a shot, then tried to change his mind. Moore comes up with the turnover, gets it ahead to Hardnett. Hardnett looking for the basket. Jim Calhoun up quickly looking for goaltending charge. He's not going to get it. That's a pretty good block by Gotch.
And it was good block. Matt Gotch will surprise you. If you're not ready, he'll come out of nowhere like that every once in a while and toss it out. See, Ted Valentine immediately said, nope, ball was still going up.
Pete Miller picked up that foul. That will be his second and the second on the team.
Entering the UConn lineup, 22,
Enter Kleber, another player who, when the year started, did not figure to get the minutes that he is now getting. Jake Voskuhl, a seat on the bench. For Husky fans who are looking to the future have to like what they have seen of Voskuhl so far in his young career.
I think he has a very promising future with the Connecticut Huskies. Shows so many good skills, understands the game, he can pass the ball. Again, that tenacity on the glass you have to love. We've seen him a little earlier going to the offensive glass, almost at a dunk.
And Tony White has checked into the game now. First off John McLeod's bench. Hardnett makes his free throws.
pressure.
UConn, the 9-8 lead, and White with the double dribble.
See, that's that unforced turnover I was talking about, Mike. You see it over and over for Notre Dame, and it really hurts them.
We have got a timeout. 15:57 to go here first half. Huskies by 1. Mike Gorman, Leo Routen's back out here at Notre Dame, where the Irish trail by 1 early, and Jim Calhoun forced to go with freshmen a little longer than perhaps he would have liked, but that's going to pay a lot of dividends down the road for Hamilton and Freeman.
It really will. You're really getting a chance to find out everything you can about these players. They get the valuable minutes to develop their games. Frustrating now, but again, down the road, it should pay off.
Huskies on the glass to this point. White defensively chasing Moore. Moore beats him on the dribble and has his shot rejected inside by Gotch, his second block. White's got a hand on the loose ball. It comes all the way out to half court, picked up by Hardnett. 13 on the shot clock. Nothing doing baseline, and that could have been an offensive foul on Moore. Instead, it'll just be Connecticut ball. 10 seconds left on the shot clock.
You see that great job by Anthony Weiss to get down, get that position on the baseline, playing with his feet, cutting the angle off.
Moore, good look inside. Bosco has it stripped. Second shot's not going down, and Garrity comes up with it. Active hands for the Irish underneath, and a chance to take the lead.
And some size with Gotch and Garrity. Some big obstacles down low. They get their hands up and don't try to block shots. They try to chain shots.
Bosco with the rebound off the Gotch miss. Hamilton, little crossover move. The jump stop, reach-in foul is going to go against Weiss. Late call. Fans didn't like it.
Well, nice job by Hamilton. He attacked the defender, going right at Weiss and forcing the action, forcing the contact. Good aggressive move on the fast break.
Well, one of the things to do when you're not shooting the ball all that well is start taking everything in the basket, see if you can get yourself to the free throw line.
Absolutely, and of course, Connecticut, one of the best defensive teams in the nation. If you can get the ball, let your defense initiate your offense, and you're going to get some baskets in transition, and hopefully it'll bring your percentage up. You look at some of the most successful teams or the best shooting teams around the country. They get out front. They get a lot of layups, easy baskets, along with their outside shooting.
Kleber is out and Freeman is back in for the Huskies. There are the numbers on Richard Hamilton. Really is going to find himself right near the top of the freshman scoring list all time for Connecticut by the time the season is through because of the many minutes he's been getting.
Taking 100 threes already, Mike. That's a little bit of a green light. Wouldn't mind that.
UConn has hit just one of its last 8 field goal attempts, yet they lead by 3 at 11-8. Does White have to look for his shot a little bit more?
He does, Mike. That's one of the areas that somebody else, we're talking about stepping up. White has to be more aggressive and look for a shot, and he did that against St. John's at 15 points, broke his man down off the dribble. Now we get another look at Pat Garrity right there. You see the reach in. Good job by Garrity. He'll square up. He knows it when to turn around and shoot it, when to turn around, maybe put the ball on the floor. He's got a good feel for where the defense is because he usually sees quite a few defenders every time he gets the ball.
And you can tell from that stroke at the free throw line that he's going to get John McLeod a lot of points before the afternoon is through. He already has 7 of Notre Dame's 9, make it 8 of their 10.
He's a tough kid, too. He's been playing with a lot of pain. He's had an inflamed bone spur in his ankle that's really bothered him. Played right through it, didn't miss a game. Practiced every day.
Nice hands on the part of White, who reminds Ted Valentine as he goes by that Q Hardnett uses the elbow.
Yeah, sure, I reached, but he hit me in the head with the elbow.
That's right.
Come on now.
Hardnett goes to the bench. Carson has come back in.
Of course, Hardnett will be sure to tell White next time, hey, don't reach, you don't get elbow. Not a problem.
Moore with a little crossover move, leaves it baseline. Carson doesn't get anything with that shot.
Got a chill in here, Mike.
Garrity. He was available there. Weiss had got the ball right back to him going down the lane. Now the Irish will reset their offense. Approaching 14 minutes to go. Garrity, little ball fakes. In and out with the jump shot. Bosco keeps it alive. Bosco's a tough kid. Now it's taken away as Manor sticks his nose in.
That's what Manor does, Mike. He just goes after an offensive glass. He's relentless, just keeps on going. And there's a travel on Pat Garrity.
Garrity on the catch took that extra step, and David Dodge with the call outside.
I mentioned Manor. He had 4 offensive rebounds Tuesday night against St. John's in the first half alone, going against Zendon Hamilton, Charles Minlin, just going in there banging continuously. So you take your eyes off of him, he's gone going to the glass. Have to box him out.
Hamilton along the baseline trying to find something. Nothing there, and that's going to be a foul on Vosco as he goes over the back of Marcus Young now in the game.
Well, excellent job of Marcus Young to step over and help out here on the drive. Watch this. He comes over and doesn't reach in, just gets his hands up to challenge and change the shot. And then Vosco comes over the back as Young reacts quickly off the miss and gets right back up for the rebound.
Huskies continuing their full court pressure, more defensively up on White.
You can see it's not as aggressive as Connecticut normally has had their pressure in the past. You would just be terrified to see Connecticut when you had the ball in the offense because they were going to come at you length of the court.
Nice screen by Manor. Garrity unable to knock down the jump shot, and Carson is there with the rebound. Moore with the push up the middle. Freeman rejected by Young from behind. Weiss on the break. Carson back. Young the trailer. And an offensive foul, I think, is going to go against Weiss, is it?
It looks like it is, Mike. He didn't gain control of himself. He came down, left his feet to make the pass, which is one of the most dangerous things you can do in the game. You have to stay on the ground. You can make all those plays without ever having to jump. Good job by Carson, though, defensively. Play the passer. See where he's going. See where his momentum is going to take him after he tries to make the pass. And he stayed right there in the lane.
He said there may not be a lot of points in this game. UConn is 1 for their last 11. Wow. And they still lead 11 to 10.
They've had a lot of opportunities, too, Mike. I mean, they're getting the ball an awful lot.
In pretty good spots.
Exactly.
Moore is going to take a three, and he knocks it down.
Ricky Moore so important to this team. One of the 2 players that was suspended. Moore only suspended for 5 games. Kirk King out for the season. But the unfortunate part for Jim Calhoun, the game that Moore was supposed to come back, the game before, right at the end, is when Rashmal Jones sprains his medial collateral ligament and he's out. So tough breaks.
Garrity looking for a little help. Back outside to Weiss. Whistle off the ball. Hamilton and Manor were going at each other in the lane. Might be Hamilton who got caught.
See, Manor's going to do that to you. He's going to drive you nuts. He's going to get in your face. He's going to irritate you. And Hamilton getting a little frustrated with the physical play that Manor is going to dish out.
Second foul on Hamilton. Irish trail by 4. We're about to go under 12 minutes. Young just going to kick it right back. Weiss passes up for 3. White will not. In and out.
See, Weiss had to step up, Mike. He was standing way past the 3-point line. He has to anticipate a pass coming. Although good block there by Weiss.
Here comes Garrity the other way. White. Little hesitation move, trying to get it to Garrity. Makes the difficult catch. Kicks it back out. Weiss is going to take it this time. Rebound. Nice hustle play by White to get that rebound off the floor. Jim Calhoun thought he had gone out of bounds. Ted Valentine was right there on the line.
Mike, if this game keeps going the way it's going, you might have to do some repainting of the rims.
Notre Dame has missed their last 5 shots.
Notre Dame shoots almost 45% of the season, so they're not that bad a shooting team. There we see Garrity able to get inside, use his body, and draw contact.
And really, as we just pointed out, the thing to do when the ball's not going down is take it to the basket.
That's right. And Garrity doing a real good job with that ball fake. Get your man up in the air and then lean into the defender, force the contact, and get to the line.
So Garrity, who has been the offensive show so far for the Irish, at the line, a chance to get to double figures here in the first half. His team is just barely to double figures. They have 10 points.
One thing about Pat Garrity, if he has a few more attempts from beyond the arc, he's also the leading 3-point percentage shooter in the Big East, shooting 45%. Just doesn't have enough attempts right now, but does a great job. And that's what makes it very difficult, because when you have a guy 6'9", you have to respect him. You have to come out and take that space away from him, and then he can use that big frame to put the ball on the floor and get inside.
That last foul, too, was on Richard Hamilton. So Hamilton right now, they have him officially for 3 personal fouls. That's what I think some of that talk at the table is about.
And it is 3, right?
Yep.
Yep. Tough break there.
He is over on the UConn bench, so the Huskies already with Rashmal Jones out now have Hamilton, their current leading scorer, on the bench with 3. Garrity makes them both. He has 10. of Notre Dame's 12. It's a 2-point game with 11:32 to go here in the first half. We are back here at the Joyce Center where Notre Dame trails UConn 14-12. And here's the John Hancock trivia question for today's game. I know you've been waiting for this. John McLeod coached in the NBA for 18 seasons. The question is, which teams did John McLeod coach? Put Leo on the spot here. Just a little while and give you the answer to that. What NBA teams did John McLeod coach?
Again, good job there. Friel into the game. Good position, playing with the feet. Make that Dillon, my mistake.
Jimmy Dillon pulls up for the jump shot, comes up short. Bell has also come into the game for Notre Dame. Young, Garrity, and Weiss stay out there. Carson looking inside. Claver gets swallowed up by the Notre Dame defense. Hardnett makes too many steps going down the lane.
Try to get that little hop step going to the basket. Had a good idea, good penetration, but right there you see that little extra step coming in.
It's the step before the hop that got him in trouble. Dillon skips the pass ahead nicely for Weiss. Where the Huskies get back quickly on defense, even when it appears they've been beaten by the pass.
Well, they really do. Number 3 in the nation in field goal percentage defensively. And if you look at the other teams, Jim Calhoun, when he was talking to us before the game, he said, hey, you have Wake Forest, you have Marquette. What's the difference between us and those teams? The big man in the middle. They have the 7-footers. And when you can hold teams to such a pace in terms of their shooting defensively, it says a lot if you don't have that big man.
Bell will spin move off the dribble, comes up firing. Voskuhl tries to keep it alive. And is picked off underneath him there by Freeman. Freeman really sticks his nose in there on both the offensive and defensive glass. Hardnett. Whatever works.
That's a tough shot right there. Get a few points for degree of difficulty.
In this game, whatever works right now. 16-12, a 4-point lead. Notre Dame right now, they have missed their last 7 field goals. UConn, I think, is 2 of their last 12 or 13.
Notre Dame is also helping out with this UConn pressure by not attacking it and looking to score when they beat it. You can see how poorly both teams are shooting.
Both teams in the 30s.
Nice job there. Good ball movement. Weiss getting a wide open look. Nails the 3.
Threes will catch you up in a hurry in this one. 16-15 now. Notre Dame just down 1. 9:35 left to go here first half. Dillon defensively out there on Moore. Notre Dame staying in their man. Carson goes by. Now Hardnett, the second guy by. Bell, he loses Bell. Comes up shooting again. Short this time. Young has been a presence on the glass since he checked in for Notre Dame.
Well, he's got a big frame. Takes up a lot of space out there. Probably the most athletic of the big guys for Notre Dame.
Garrity's got Freeman on him. He should be able to shoot over Freeman. He had trouble. Nice fake on Voskuhl and banks it home.
Oh, a little Larry Bird action on that one, Mike. Get he up and under, get the ball off the glass.
You can count on one hand the number of kids these days who use the glass from anywhere longer than about 3 feet out.
Well, Freeman using the glass, and what they don't realize is that you have more margin for error when you use the glass. You don't have to aim quite as precisely when you get that ball up, and also you don't get your shot blocked. You get that ball up higher.
I remember you banking a few home, Leo.
I used to love the glass when I got a chance to shoot.
Weiss trying to find something baseline. Can't lay it down. Now it's picked up. Put back up. Voskuhl comes away with it. Garrity trying to slow the outlet pass. Here comes Moore. Carson pulls up. Back rim.
Good job by Garrity getting down. In the offensive end, he's right in the bucket. Comes right back, gets the defensive rebound. That's an effort every coach is looking for his players.
Bell.
That's a tough shot right there.
That didn't have any chance.
Gary Bell's had a lot of problems with injuries throughout his career. This is a double dribble right there. Jody Sylvester right on the play.
We are going to get a timeout. We've got 8 minutes straight up to go in the first half. It's not pretty, but it is close. 18-17 UConn. We are back here at the Joyce Center where UConn is holding on to an 18-17 lead with 8 to go here in the first half. Time for the answer to our John Hancock question. John McLeod coached in the NBA for 18 seasons. Which teams did he coach? Leo.
I can name 3: Phoenix, Dallas, and New York.
Very
All right.
strong. Very strong.
All right.
The Suns, the Mavs, and the Knicks had his most success with the Suns.
And there's a guy that played for him in Dallas, Terry Tyler, now an assistant coach for Notre Dame, John McLeod. And Terry Tyler told me that in his 1 year at Dallas playing for John McLeod, he learned more than his entire NBA career, which was at least 10-year career. So it says a lot for John McLeod.
Back-to-back turnovers, and Dillon will now try to get something going down low. Nice look as he found Manor.
Oh, Manor was waiting. He had his man sealed, had his arm out. He was calling for the ball. Finally got it down low. Excellent job to seal and keep his man away from the ball.
Irish with the lead here at 19-18, 7:20 left to go here in the first half.
See, what kills you about Notre Dame, Mike, they do a great job. They'll get a play like that, fundamentally sound. They'll seal the man. They'll get the ball. And then all of a sudden, they'll throw the ball away and do some things that are so different from the way they can play and are capable of playing.
Freeman's line drive jump shot won't go down. Connecticut trying to say it was tipped, but it was not.
No, it definitely wasn't. Just a good defensive play, getting up and challenging. You see, again, they're seeing that full court pressure. A little 2-2-1 full court, but token at best right now, although Manor didn't see the defender. Michael LeBlanc coming in, picking up the charge. Actually, LeBlanc got to give him some credit there. A little bit of an acting job. He went down before there was contact, but hey, that's part of the game. That's a good job of anticipating the contact. Connecticut 10 turnovers now, Mike.
Kevin Freeman back in. I think I blamed Kevin for that line drive jump shot earlier. That was LeBlanc's. LeBlanc, Hartnett, Freeman, Kleber, and Carson are on the floor right now for the Huskies. LeBlanc, another of the youngsters, getting perhaps more minutes than he would have thought he was going to get this year. He turns it over on the baseline, and Ricky Moore is going to quickly get back into the game for Connecticut. And they are going to let him in.
Again, we're seeing that good defensive job. Gary Bell steered LeBlanc right into the baseline, and Derek Manor sitting there waiting. No angles to the bucket.
LeBlanc will sit down. Dillon giving up the dribble pretty early there. Now Weiss has to come through some traffic, a lot of traffic.
That's dangerous.
Holy cow.
He got away with something, but didn't get away with everything. You could just see that was just bound to happen. You don't want to dribble into traffic, and there was no need to. He had players to pass the ball to, good angles. You could see.
There we go.
Oh, a little pass off the old hip, off your teammate. Give it to yourself. Good job.
There have been 6 turnovers in this game in the last minute and 20 seconds. Wow. Nearly a 7th right there, but Gotch instead called for the foul over the back of Kleber.
See, Matt Gotch don't have to commit the foul here. Look where Kleber is. He's away from the basket. He's not in a threat to do anything offensively with his back to the basket that far away. Just keep your position, keep your hands up. And Gotch, give him credit, usually does that. He usually keeps his position, gets his hands up, and avoids fouls like that.
Hickey has checked in for the Irish now. Hickey, Dillon, Garrity, Manor, and Weiss on the floor. There's Freeman down on the blocks trying to work on Garrity. Couple of up fakes. Garrity really didn't bite. Freeman goes and gets his own miss. Puts it back up, no. Rebound. Look at Freeman battle underneath. Rebound ultimately taken by Hickey. He gets stripped. Why don't we let him play underneath there and see what happens? Ricky Moore. Boy, it just never goes in, does it?
Wow, that's so frustrating for a coach, because Freeman put a tremendous effort in. He was right there going up, but give Notre Dame some credit. Hands up, challenge, but don't foul.
Hickey has to kick it back out to Dillon, gets it back.
Hickey has a soft touch. He can make that shot when he gets it, squares, and doesn't rush.
Nice pass by Dillon.
Excellent two-man game, the pick and roll.
21-18 3-point Notre Dame lead, their biggest of the afternoon. Kleber gets his own miss, and also not Jimmy Dillon, or is it Kleber? It's going to be Kleber getting the foul in the rebounding action.
I don't think Jim Calhoun wants to see Kleber take that shot. That's a shot that UConn can pretty much get any trip down court, especially for the big man to be shooting outside. But watch this pick and roll. Hickey releases at just the right time, and the pass is right on the money. And there's that soft touch off the glass.
And Jimmy Dillon, who made that pass, is at the line. And he'll shoot the front end of a 1-and-1. Carson comes away with the miss. Hickey gets a hand on the pass, and then battling is Manor. It's that toughness you talked about with Manor. Dillon in the middle on the break, and a blocking foul is going to be called. Dillon got bailed out a little bit there by Dion Carson.
Exactly. Dillon was out of control, had nowhere to go, was trying to force the play after a great steal by Derek Manor. All hustle. But watch right here. Carson doing a good job of getting back defensively. And again, Dillon really had nowhere to go. I thought Carson had pretty good position. Even though he's moving, he's ahead of the man, backtracking.
Not in the act of shooting, but Dillon makes the front end of the 1-and-1. That's his first point of the afternoon. Cincinnati rolling over Marquette. Bit of a surprise there, at least the margin, 15 early. Michigan in a close game at Penn State. Colorado and Texas A&M coming up in about 15 to 20 minutes. Hartnett. He didn't have anywhere to go. Nice job by Hickey. Lead pass. Dillon ahead of the field. Oh, Jimmy almost pulled one out.
Good defensive pressure. Ricky Moore did a great job of getting back and forced Dillon to throw up a Michael Jordan hanger. Derek Manor, he is all over the place. Going for the steals, getting the rebounds.
Garrity, Freeman right there underneath him. Hickey. Dillon. Front rims the three. Ricky Moore takes the rebound off the court. Gets it to Carson on a wing. Carson now leans in. Oh, couldn't get it to stay down. And the foul is going to be over the back.
Looks like it could be against Jake Lasko.
That has got to drive Jim Calhoun. Jake Lasko getting up. That's got to drive Jim Calhoun crazy. Watch this miss.
He does a great move of getting inside, but when the shot released, it just had no chance. It had no chance to get up and over the rim. And again, very frustrating, not only for Jim Calhoun, also for Carson. He's going,
absolutely.
Hey, what do I got to do here? I got a good look at the basket, just can't get that ball to drop.
UConn hasn't had a field goal in 4 minutes and 25 seconds. Enter Kleber will come in. Jake Lasko will go out. Hickey trying to extend the Notre Dame lead.
The only thing keeping both teams in the game is turnovers. If you look at that situation, both teams average almost around 19 turnovers in Big East play, which is much higher than they average throughout the regular season.
Hickey 1 of 2 at the line. Garrity coming up with a tip rebound, short with his jump shot.
Kleber did a nice job of challenging Pat Garrity in that shot. Got his hands up, forced him to shoot it up way over, not get a chance to drop.
Ricky Moore throws it away. Weiss was just kind of laying in the weeds, waiting for that pass. Weiss all the way, no. Battle underneath. Moore got back and came up with the rebound. And now Moore gets tied up, and a reach-in foul is going to be called, I believe, on White.
Well, Ricky Moore can't believe it. He said, I got guys on my back. I got guys all around me. Are you kidding me? Gary Bell underneath him. Add more White on top of him. It's a little all-star wrestling, WWF, for your entertainment.
They do not have a scoreboard here at the Joyce Center to replay something like that. Jim Calhoun getting a T, and you can see he is still hot. He got the technical for being out on the floor more than what he said.
There also has been a technical foul charged to the Connecticut team bench.
Well, they charge it to the Connecticut team bench. And I think it'll be Garrity probably who will go to the line to shoot that.
Well, I can understand Jim Calhoun getting a little hot about that. Ricky Moore did a great job of getting the basketball, and there were some obvious fouls on that effort.
Okay, we're told that the official said the technical foul actually is on Jim Calhoun, not the bench, as it was announced by the public address announcer. Here's Ricky Moore. He is going to shoot the fouls first.
Connecticut shooting 64% on the season, I should say, in the conference this year.
But I mean, Moore is who's a 77% free throw shooter, and that free throw just had no chance.
No, it didn't.
13 now for Garrity.
Nice
Better than half the Notre Dame total.
And nice thing about Pat Garrity, when you look at his numbers, you didn't know the stats, you wouldn't think he had that many points. He finds his points in the flow of the game, out of the offense, in transition, doesn't force a lot of the plays, lets it all happen.
He's got 14 this afternoon, and Notre Dame's got their biggest lead. It's 25-18. Notre Dame has opened up a 7-point lead here at 25-18, 3:57 to go in the first half. Mike Norman and Leo Routens, happy you could join us, and hope you will be able to join us on the 15th as the Red Storm of St. John's will be at Rutgers. That's a noontime game. Hope you can join us next Saturday. And then on Sunday the 16th, the Seton Hall Pirates will be at Boston College. That's coming up next Sunday. Seton Hall and BC. Pat Garrity continues to move on up the scoring list. Now he's 23rd all time. And Pat, of course, just a junior and will indeed be back for his senior year.
He's got a long way to go. He's going to put up a lot of numbers.
Offensive foul is going to be charged on White.
Again, there's a play you have that doesn't fit into the Notre Dame system. Weish coming down, trying to force a play, trying to get inside. Kleber doing a great job of getting down there and cutting that off. But Notre Dame is successful when they move, they set screens, and they get that same play after it's been reversed a couple of times. Then you're not going to pick up the charge.
Weish goes to the bench. UConn has nothing to show for their last 12 possessions. Not a point.
Make that 13.
Make it 13 is right. Garrity with the rebound.
That presence of Phil Hickey or Matt Gotch, Marcus Young is a big factor for Notre Dame. They do a great job of getting there and getting their hands up and forcing. Again, Connecticut's changed many shots that they've put up. And wow,
air ball out of Garrity, but the follow there by Hickey, and he's going to get himself to the free throw line.
And again, that's the advantage of the big man. Hickey doesn't get up, he's not very quick, but he's always looking to get that position. And there he is. He's right on the basket, and as that ball is missed, it comes right into his hands. Kleber not big enough physically to push Phil Hickey away from the bucket.
But Hickey, to his credit, just beat Kleber to the spot.
He really did. He anticipated the shot. That's the big advantage you have. When you play with a great shooter, you know when that shot's going up. You know where your angles are. You know his tendencies, whether to shoot off the glass or not. And you can become a great offensive rebounder when you know that.
10-0 run here for Notre Dame to take a 10-point lead with 3:10 to go in the half. Carson Moore, you would think he's got to take that shot. Takes it the second time and makes it for 3.
I was going to say that first option was better because you're not thinking about it. You go up and shoot the shot. But he did make the second one.
Ricky Moore trying to carry the offensive load for the Huskies. He has 8. Notre Dame by 7 in the ball. Inside Garrity. Over Freeman. Can't bank that one home, and Freeman's right there for the rebound.
Garrity getting frustrated with himself. His last couple shots not even close.
Hardnett loses the handle on the dribble. Miller gets it. Loose ball comes back to Connecticut. And Ricky Moore's hit 2 in a row, both threes.
No spin at all. Did you notice that on that shot, Mike? No spin, a knuckleball going to the bucket.
Whatever works. Notre Dame's 10-point lead is down to 4. That's an offensive foul. Right there. You bet it is.
Gary Bell really stuck out that left arm as he put his head down going on the baseline. Again, got into a little bit earlier. Ricky Bell's had a lot of problems with injuries. Back injury last year, had a severe ankle injury this season.
Stick around at the half. We'll have a visit with Big East Commissioner Mike Tranghese, along with highlights and stats from this first half, and a look at some of the former Big East players who are doing so well now in the NBA. This, of course, All-Star Weekend up in Cleveland, Ohio. 28-24 as we approach 2 minutes to go first half. Carson. Miller took a bit of a dive there. Moore into the paint, trying to get rid of it. Huskies get lucky. The ball comes to LeBlanc, and he hits a 3. 3 straight threes for Connecticut, and the 10-point lead is down to 1.
And an excellent look by LeBlanc. Had a wide open shot. No hesitation whatsoever. Just put it up.
Hickey. Pretty good double team, but a little too good a double team, I guess. Either Kleber or LeBlanc is going to get a foul.
Good job by Hickey not to panic in that situation. He's a big guy, had that ball up, moved it around. You can see right here the defense coming in. You don't have to reach in this situation. Looked like Kleber grabbed him around the wrist, trying to get the basketball.
The threes keeping the Huskies breathing here. 5 of 5, 3 of them in the last minute and 10 seconds. Sam Funchess into the game for the first time. Anter Clable will go to the bench. And at the line will be Phil Hickey.
Nice touch by the big fella. It's a very soft touch. He can come out and hit that jump shot. Very effective around the basket. Again, doesn't give you a lot of moves, but knows what he can do. And he moves well to get in position to get his shots.
Averaging just 3 points and 3 rebounds a game in Big East play, and he has 7 already today. So Phil might be at the truck after the game looking for a copy of this tape. Take it back to the dorm with him.
Did we used to do that?
I remember some requests. Carson, nice little crossover move on Friel. Keeps going baseline. Nothing doing there as he gets shut off. Got it on the other side. Came up short with it. Out of the pack comes Manor. It's a loose ball and Manor's on the floor. He's probably going to get a hand on. Oh, tough pass there by White.
And great catch.
Yeah.
When you can get your 7-footer coming down the middle at a pretty good clip and get him to hang on to that ball and not travel, that certainly is a great catch.
UConn foul, number 15.
Nice job.
His second.
You can see Hickey knows what to do when he gets that basketball. Turn, knows where he is, calling for the ball, and just barely getting through there. That's one of those situations where if he does travel, if he does turn that ball over, that's the fault of the point guard for putting a big man in that situation. So a point guard or whoever's the passer has to be very selective about who he's giving the ball to at what point on the court.
Hickey struggling a bit at the free throw line, but still has 8 first-half points. We're in the final minute with the Irish up 3, 30-27. Ricky Moore trying to work on White. Freeman just was heading for the hoop, but he was not looking at all at Moore. Foul's going to be on White, reaching in.
Jody Sylvester.
Oh, you got a timeout. Yeah.
Ricky Moore was looking at Sylvester saying, there's got to be a foul, and Sylvester thought he called the timeout.
I didn't think he called the timeout.
No,
I think you're exactly right. They'll charge Connecticut with a 20, and they'll trade that for a possession.
That's right. Keep the ball, get another shot.
Full day of action here in the Big East. 2 o'clock this afternoon. Georgetown and Syracuse with their annual rumble up at the Dome. Providence and West Virginia. They could hit the century mark in that game. Those two teams can score points, which is very unusual these days. Seton Hall and Pitt at 4 o'clock. And Miami looking to pay back Rutgers after Rutgers won at the buzzer. And, of course, tomorrow, BC and St. John's at 12:30. And the Villanova Wildcats play Kentucky. Kentucky, of course, coming off that loss to South Carolina. I'm not sure you want to go play Rick Pitino in Lexington off a loss.
That's a great point. I don't think I'd want to be on that court.
Punches a jump hook, no less.
Nice move. Going up quick right over Phil Hickey.
UConn back to within 1. Notre Dame looks like they want the final shot here of the first half. White, a couple of moves with the dribble. Still 17 seconds to go.
White's still very quiet offensively.
Shot clock is off. Notre Dame needs to come up with something. How about that? White misses a 3. Moore's got a chance to get a shot off here. Gets it off. I kind of expected that one to go in with all the ones that missed so far here today. But John McLeod heads to the locker room, and his club has got themselves a 1-point lead. Our score here at halftime at the Joyce Center. The Fighting Irish 30. The Connecticut Huskies 29. Stick around for our halftime activities right after this. Welcome back to the Joyce Center, everyone, here on the campus of Notre Dame University, where the Fighting Irish have themselves a 30-29 lead at the half. I'm Mike Gorman, along with Leo Routens. We told you we didn't think it would be pretty, and it isn't. We also told you we thought it would be close, and it is. It is.
Both teams need a win. Both teams are playing hard, but a lot of turnovers, 13 apiece, which is hurting them, and percentages are pretty low.
All right, Pat Garrity living.
Pat Garrity playing excellent ball. 14 points in the first half, 6 boards to go with that. Again, doing it inside, outside, giving you the hustle. And Ricky Moore for UConn has been a spark plug, 3 of 3 from long range, and has really helped Connecticut stay into this ballgame.
Got hot late as Notre Dame had opened up a 10-point lead, and then Ricky Moore, as Leo pointed out, came alive knocking down the threes. In fact, after some really abysmal shooting for most of the first half, Connecticut hit 3 threes in a minute and 10 seconds to get themselves back into the game. But look at those numbers you mentioned to me too when you first looked at the stats, the free throw numbers, Leo.
Absolutely. Notre Dame really getting to the line. UConn only 4 of 5 rebounds. UConn with the advantage. Bosco doing a nice job. Dion Carson, 10 rebounds in the first half, and turnovers killing both teams.
26 turnovers already here in the first half. 26 turnovers and 18 field goals. That kind of sums it up. We will be back with second half action right after this. Welcome back for second half action, everyone, as the Fighting Irish have a 30-29 lead, and we're just about 30 seconds or so away from second half action. Notre Dame can get their 5th conference win here this afternoon if they can hold on. The Huskies, on the other hand, looking to get to the 500 mark. UConn, as we look at the leading scorers more, we mentioned with those threes leading the way. UConn was still an outside shot at some postseason play here.
Absolutely. They get Rashmal Jones, depending on how quick he will be able to get back to the lineup, but getting him back is going to be real important. And again, the team just has to get hot, make some shots, and they can do some damage, and hopefully Jim Calhoun can get that to happen.
John McLeod would love to put together a late season run here. Again, Notre Dame 3-3 in their last 6, and maybe try to get them an NIT bid.
Well, one person that's going to be very important is Admore White. You don't see his name right there with the scores. 0 points, 0 assists, and 0 steals in the first half for the point guard for Notre Dame, who was so important in their victory Tuesday night. Had 15 points, 8 assists, 4 steals, did a good job of distributing the basketball, and he has the ability. I remember I talked to John McLeod after the game and said, John, he played great. He goes, I know, I got to get that every game. What can I do? And you could just see the frustration, saying he has the ability. We just have to tap into it every night.
Manor takes the inbound pass. He's out there with Miller, Gotch, Garrity, and White. Gotch trying to back down Bosco a little bit. He's out there with Hamilton, Moore, Carson, and Freeman. White throws it up on the run. In there for the rebound is Dion Carson, who's done a great job this afternoon. How about 11 rebounds in the game now for Dion Carson?
It's a big number.
That's a huge number.
3 of those came in the offensive glass, too, and that helps out getting those second opportunities. It looks like Bosco got away with a little push, but still can't get it down.
That's unbelievable.
Oh, he's been there, Mike. He's been there all afternoon. Just can't get the shot to drop.
Gotch gets the bump.
See, now Gotch can hit that foul line jumper. I've seen him do it before, but just for some reason, not looking for that shot right now.
Well, that's a lost shot in the game these days. Nobody takes mid-range jump shots
right.
anymore.
From the elbows of the free throw line and from the short corner shots. Those are, and they're tough shots. If you don't practice them and spend time on those shots, they're very difficult shots. But if you spend a little bit of time at them, you get an awful lot of looks from those spots.
I was going to say, you do indeed.
And your percentages can be very, very good.
Let's see, who'd the ball go off? Looked like a good call. It's come back to Connecticut. Hamilton comes up shooting and knocks down that jump shot we were just talking about.
And that's an excellent job by Hamilton to square up. Got the inside foot planted, cut off Derek Manor. Got a good look.
Huskies grab the lead back on the odd number. Miller gets it across half court to Gotch. He gets it ahead to White. White decides to take it to the basket, and the finger roll goes down.
See, Mikey has that ability. He can take his man. He's quick. He can handle the basketball. When he's aggressive and he looks to make his move, he can really hurt defenders.
Averaging 10 a game. Those are his first 2. Hamilton missing that jump shot. Garrity with the rebound. He's going to bring it up himself. Nice crossover move with the dribble. Good look to Manor, and he gets 2.
Nice job, Garrity, showing again that versatility in the open floor. Little crossover and the dish.
6 for Manor. The Irish by 3. Moore looking to work on White off the dribble. Moore pulls up. Bosco with the offensive rebound. Took that over the top of his own man. Hamilton trying to find something there on the baseline, and Derek Manor will be called for the foul.
You don't see Derek Manor give up the baseline too often, but Hamilton, nice first step getting over there, and Manor pretty much felt helpless at that point, just slapped from behind. You know, Mike, you talk about situations like that, the short corner shot, the elbow shot, how young players today don't spend a lot of time working on that, but you can take it one step further and look at the NBA, and you talk about, as you get another look at this nice move there by Hamilton. But you look at the NBA, what's the greatest single shot in the history of the game of basketball? The one shot that Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, the sky hook, right?
The sky hook, okay.
I mean, unstoppable, right? One single shot you can pick out, nobody stopped. How many players have said, hey, this guy had a whole career based on one shot. Why don't I try that?
Nobody shoots the hook shot.
Nobody does.
Nobody does, on any level anymore.
Magic Johnson was the only guy, his teammate, that would try to do that, and was pretty successful at it, won some big games using it. But it just tells you something that players aren't looking at seeing what works and trying to do that.
Constant source of frustration for my old friend Tom Hanks. He made a career on a hook shot. Much like Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Carson unable to hit outside. Manor comes down with the miss. But you're right, it's a simple shot. Young, he gets fouled by Richard Hamilton, and Hamilton has just picked up his 4th personal foul.
Notre Dame getting some good scoring opportunities just because they're running. They're getting out, they're filling the lanes. Marcus Young doing an excellent job of getting out ahead of everybody for an easy look.
Hamilton may have been wiser to just let Young go.
Well, he had the quickness too. Don't try to block the shot. Try to get back there and cut him off, but don't try to block the shot. I mean, the chances are at 6'9", 245, you're not going to block it anyway. But Rick Barry makes the free throw.
Marcus Young, a 50% free throw shooter.
He went to the line in Pittsburgh about a week ago and took this shot. Everybody in the whole place went nuts. Couldn't believe it. They hadn't seen it, and here he is. Oh, couldn't get the second one to drop.
1 of 2, 1 of 7 you saw on the year, 1 of 2 in conference games. LeBlanc is back on the floor now for UConn. Moore kicks it out. LeBlanc will take it and make it.
Oh, he's got a nice stroke. Steps into his shot well. Good release. Good rotation on the basketball.
Second 3 for LeBlanc, and the Huskies go back up 1 at 36-35. UConn a little double team. Now they back off it. Manor exchanges with White. 20 seconds left on the shot clock. Miller comes up shooting and knocks it down.
And there's a guy you've got to watch out for. Doesn't matter what he's done to this point. He can come down and get very, very streaky. Hit 3 threes in the second half against St. John's Tuesday night that really helped break the game open for Notre Dame.
Young with the miss. Garrity to Manor cutting down the lane, and Manor gets 2 more.
And Notre Dame getting that transition game going. They're unselfish. They'll look to make the extra pass.
8 points for Derek Manor. 39-36 Irish. Moore. LeBlanc comes around the screen. Manor's with him this time. Finds Carson. Carson back outside. LeBlanc with a look. In and out. Young. Well, Young has just been a force when he's been on the court.
You look at his stats, you'd expect much more impressive stats because, again, you look at his body. He's a big, strong guy, the most athletic big guy on Notre Dame, but he has modest statistics for the amount of time he plays, and he's capable of doing much, much more when you look at him and you see him play in a game like today.
Freeman taking it in, and he got fouled as he made a move to the hoop. UConn just 1 for 10 in this half so far.
Well, Freeman quick to the bucket. One thing he does, he can explode to the basket quickly. He's got some good spin moves around the bucket, and again, you can't get much closer than that.
Returning for UConn.
And he even used the glass one. He even used a couple of other guys that could say, hey, get it off the glass. He even used the glass, couldn't get it to drop.
15, Kevin Freeman, shooting 2.
Freeman, a freshman out of Springfield, Massachusetts, by way of New Jersey, where he played his high school ball. Only a 53% free throw shooter in conference games. Gary Bell is coming back in for the Irish, and Derek Manor will sit down. Good things seem to happen to Notre Dame when Manor is on the floor.
Interesting thing about Freeman, after 3 years at Springfield, transferred to Patterson Catholic and played with Tim Thomas his senior year.
3 points for Freeman on the day. It's a 2-point game. Notre Dame's got the lead. They'll have the ball when we get back. Mike Orman, Leo Routen's back out here at Notre Dame, where the Irish have a 39-37 lead, and a chance to remind you that today's Big East Conference game is a copyrighted telecast of Creative Sports Incorporated. Any use of the pictures, descriptions, or accounts of this broadcast without the express prior written consent of Creative Sports is prohibited. Miller, Garrity, White, Young, and Bell are on the floor right now for Notre Dame. 50% shooting for the Irish here in the second half. Bosco, Klaber, LeBlanc, Hardnett, and Carson for Connecticut. Carson defensively out there on Miller. Garrity sets a nice screen. Miller unable to make the three. Kleber with the rebound.
And if you're UConn, you really have to be conscious of Pete Miller not giving too many of those clean looks. Good defense there. Admore White getting his hand in.
Ripped by White, exactly. Garrity, very unselfish player. Young down in the blocks.
That's a great point, Mike, because Garrity could shoot the ball a lot more if he wanted to.
Gary Bell hits a little floater in the lane. His first two.
Gary Bell is another one of those players. We saw him take some tough shots in the first half, but he's another one of those guys that can come in and get real streaky and put up some quick shots, even including some three-pointers that can break a game open.
UConn's going to use a 20-second timeout here with 14:38 to go. And Notre Dame up 4.
Get another look at Gary Bell. He has a soft touch. You can see him, and he has good size. A little overweight right now. Doesn't move as quick as he could because of the injuries he's had. But here's a guy that was counted on to be the starting small forward this year, but it just hasn't worked out.
Next Saturday, you'll get to see Zendon Hamilton and Felipe Lopez, the rest of the Red Storm, as they take on Rutgers. That's a noontime game. And then on Sunday, Scooney Penn will lead the Boston College Eagles against Shaheen Holloway. Two of the better young guards in the Big East Conference on display, 2 p.m. next Sunday. It's funny, you do a lot of games, and when that shot went down by Bell, I kind of looked at you there, Leo, and I had a feeling, I didn't say anything, but I'm saying to myself, Connecticut might be in trouble here. And Calhoun was quickly up with a timeout. I mean, they're not putting the ball in the basket here again in the second half.
The difference is, in the first half, they were getting good looks. The second half, they're not really getting good looks.
Baseline jumper will not go down. It's pulled down by Bell.
Notre Dame doing a good job of making it one and done and not giving up many offensive rebound opportunities for Connecticut.
And you probably say, well, it's 14 minutes to go and it's only a 4-point game, but 6 or 8 points in this game could become a huge lead.
It really is.
And Connecticut does not have what Notre Dame does have, and that is a go-to guy in Garrity.
That's right. You got a go-to guy that, again, can play inside and outside and is very strong, so he can create a lot of his own shots around the basket.
Hardnett in and out with the three. Rebound tracked down the baseline by Miller. You do have the feeling almost every Notre Dame possession that Garrity, if he gets his hands on the ball, can pretty much do what he wants to do. Like that. White. Oh, he just got that over the front rim.
Oh, I think he realized about when he was almost there, I better not try to dunk this. Let me just drop this in. Good choice.
Hardnett trying to get it back in a hurry, and which way we're going?
Pete Miller with the charge.
Miller giving up the body.
Again, Miller watches. He looks at the defender, looks at his eyes, sees what he's trying to think, and he's right there. You see right there, he's getting that position, just waiting, and he got away from the basket so he wouldn't be underneath the bucket. Good job by Pete Miller.
Watch the hands here as Garrity. That's 6'9", taking it away from the opposition point guard.
That's right. Quick hands, always looking. And he didn't give up on a play. That's the key. Came from behind. He saw there was a mistake, but he came from behind, got the ball back. And, getting back to that point about Garrity, that he really could. I mean, right now, I remember when they played Villanova, Steve Lapis wouldn't even put Tim Thomas on Garrity because Tim Thomas is a big, strong, athletic guy, because he said he's not ready. He's a freshman. He's not ready to cover a Garrity. Well, there's a lot of freshmen trying to cover Garrity today, and he could be looking to really take advantage of these guys. But again, he plays within the system. He's not a selfish guy. But I think possibly Notre Dame could ask him to be a little bit more selfish in situations like this.
There's Ricky Moore burying another three. 14 for Moore. He was able to erase a 10-point deficit almost single-handedly in the first half. Notre Dame had the lead up to 8. It's down to 5 now off that three.
Ricky Moore's a very dangerous player. Another one of those guys where you can see he's the one guy that's had success. Take the ball into his hands. Force somebody else to make those shots right now. Nice job.
Garrity could do that on every possession.
Exactly. Exactly. There's nobody big enough or strong enough or quick enough, depending on who you put on him, to match up.
18 for Pat Garrity in the game right now. We're approaching the 12-minute mark here at the Joyce Center.
Most teams that have the personnel might throw bigger physical players at Garrity and just basically try to beat him up, and they try to rotate guys in throughout the course of the game.
But what he is able to do as he comes down with that miss is just take his game further outside when they do that.
Exactly. When you have that threat to be able to shoot the basketball, it opens up everything else. Oh, man. Derek Manor. Didn't I tell you this guy's a skyscraper?
Derek Manor with an emphatic stuff there on the baseline. Connecticut takes a timeout, 11:45 left to go in this one. And the Irish are starting to take control. 49-40 as Derek Manor leaves a little calling card right here. We are back with 11:45 to go in this one, and some excitement off that baseline stuff by Derek Manor, and Notre Dame and John McLeod now have themselves a 9-point lead. Do you know that John McLeod used to be a very good middleweight boxer?
I didn't know that.
Very good. Very good. You get John sometime to talk about that. John has a remarkable background. A lot of things.
I know he's always been one of the better dressed coaches.
Absolutely.
Whether it be the NBA or in the NCAA.
I mean, a very good fighter. He was a very good fighter in his youth.
So basically you're saying don't approach him the wrong way after a bad game.
That's right. Hamilton trying to dump it low, does successfully to Freeman, and he gets fouled as he tries to go up with the left hand.
Looked like Derek Manor caught him on the arm coming from behind.
And this is a sign, I think, the little things you look for. This is a sign of a well-coached team. They come out of a timeout and look at the shot that they get.
Exactly. Well, Jim Calhoun, obviously, he's a tremendous coach. Had a lot of great years, and you look at what UConn has done in the last 8 years, last 4 years specifically, just absolutely incredible. The run that they've had. It was 101 wins, 21 losses in the last 4 seasons. That's the 4th best among 307 Division I programs. It's unfortunate, sorry, Mike, it's unfortunate that in light of the suspensions, some people say that Jim Calhoun's name has been tarnished a little bit, and I can't see how his name can be tarnished.
That's pretty bogus.
Yeah, it is.
That's a reach.
There's some things written in the Connecticut papers, and there's no way his name has been tarnished. He realized what happened. He went to the NCAA, and he's been a first-class coach. As long as I've been aware of Jim Calhoun, he's been among the league leaders and among the best coaches in the country.
But when you have a program as successful as Connecticut, it comes under a lot of public scrutiny, and much has been written and said about the press corps that constantly is following the Huskies. Hickey off a nice feed in there from guess who? Garrity.
That's a great pass and a great, again, concentration by Hickey with the contact on the ball. The ball got hit. He still forced it into the basket.
A 10-point game here for Phil Hickey, and I know that's something the Connecticut scouting report did not have in it. That Hickey would probably get double figures on it.
Well, that's what hurts you. When you know the scouting report, you know who you have to stop, and then somebody like Phil Hickey comes up with some numbers, and then timeout right there. Vasco, out of desperation, calls the timeout.
10 minutes, 39 seconds left to go in the game. Let's see whether Connecticut's going to make it a 20-second timeout. Yes, they are. They will use one of their 20s. So, again, possessions, it seems like there's a long way to go, and there is, but possessions are important in a game where nobody's making shots.
Absolutely. Without a doubt. You have to have some good looks. You have to make those shots, and Connecticut just really struggling with those opportunities.
Cincinnati rolling over Marquette, 20-point game in the second half. Clemson by 15 over Maryland. Long afternoon for Gary Williams. Pretty good day for Rick Barnes, a couple of former Big East coaches, now doing very well in the ACC.
I remember playing against Gary Williams coach teams in the Big East, and you had to be ready for a fight. They would come. You talk about baseline to baseline. Yeah. Relentless pressure.
Sometimes it seemed like Gary was playing.
I think he was at times, Mike.
He worked the sideline.
He needed a change of clothes after every ball game.
Jimmy Dillon back in at the point. Miller trying to get it to Garrity. Hamilton, the quick hands to come up with the turnover.
See, this is where Notre Dame could let Connecticut back into it. Although when you make plays like that, save the day. But they will turn it over, and again, uncharacteristically unforced like that, back-to-back turnovers right now. And as long as Connecticut can just get a few of these looks to drop, they can get back into it.
Inside, Freeman.
Oh, that's a
nice
tough move there. That's a tough move right between Garrity and Hickey. A lot of strength and quickness on that one.
7 points for Freeman. He is now the second high scorer behind Moore in the game. 51-44, 7-point game, 9:45 to play.
See, this is where John McLeod's team, Notre Dame, has to really learn to put teams away in this situation. They have a veteran team. They have a lot of guys with experience in Big East play, much more than Connecticut, and they have to close the door in those situations.
Manor, nice hustle to keep it alive. Hickey, he goes to the floor and gets a timeout.
You notice what Hickey did, Mike, too. He kept his feet off the floor so he wouldn't get called for a travel.
Watch the hustle of Manor here, who...
Derek Manor's lucky he didn't get sliced in half on this play.
He is, isn't he?
Holy mackerel, did he go after the ball. Right into the scorer's table.
And he took a shot right in the middle, right in the midsection here in the scorer's table.
Check out Hickey, though. Gets his feet up in the air right now. Gets his feet up in the air.
Cradles that ball, signals for the 20. And so Notre Dame will keep the possession with 9:25 left to go in the game. Hey, 7 of 11 shooting for the Huskies, and that's what has them within 7. Notre Dame just 1 of 8. And let me ask you, Leo, are we getting to a point here with 9:25 to go where if you're Notre Dame, it's kind of like, let's kind of put the ball in Pat's hands and we'll kind of ride him to
Mike,
about 2:30 this afternoon?
I think if you're Notre Dame, you want to keep it in his hands at least once every 2 or 3 possessions down court. Get it to him. I would even go to him, at least let him touch it every possession. See, there you go. That's 3 turnovers in a row for Notre Dame. Just careless, unforced turnovers, and Admore White is going to come back into the game to replace Dillon. But, you know, even if he doesn't have to score, good things happen when the ball touches Pat Garrity's hands. So you have to give him the ball almost every time down court.
Michigan a 6-point lead, and Texas A&M and Colorado going at it in just about 14 or 15 minutes. Huskies down 7, under 9 minutes to go. Hamilton trying the double clutch. Hickey got a piece of it, knocked it out of bounds. It'll still be UConn ball with 16 on the shot clock.
All the big guys for Notre Dame have responded well to any penetration by UConn. They've been there, they've gotten their hands up, they've forced different shots to be taken. And that's an aggressive foul there.
Derek Manor is going to pick it up.
Not wanting to let Hamilton go anywhere. See, Derek Manor will play you ahead of time. See right there, he's hanging on to his shirt. And I don't know, I think Hamilton may have slipped on that play anyway, but official saw the hand on the shirt first.
Ricky Moore having trouble getting it in. Finally loops it out to Carson, who nearly traveled after making the catch. Jim Calhoun, top of the screen with the call off the Connecticut bench. Hamilton looks like he's going to try to take Manor. Oh, great defense there, as Hickey just never let get the ball out of his hands, and then Hickey comes away with the rebound. Hamilton, Mike, never got that shot off.
Well, you could see all the shots too, Mike. They're off balance, they're leaners, they're hangers. Hickey better settle down on this play right now. He doesn't like the call by Teddy Valentine, but he can't argue this in the open court. Don't want to pick up a technical foul. Getting called for a moving screen right there, and you can see at the last second he just stepped up, got the hip right into Moore.
That's a good call.
Now it works in hockey now. Now Notre Dame got the hockey thing going, so that's not bad, but not out here in basketball.
Hickey is going to go over to John McLeod's bench, and Weiss is going to check back in. Matt Gotch also coming back into the game, and Miller will sit down. Derek not a happy camper as he sits down with his fourth.
He's a tough customer. He'll come back in, whether he has 4 or what, he'll come back in and play hard when he does.
Moore. Not this time. Carson, who has done just a great job on the glass, but a traveling violation is called.
Mike, that's the 14th rebound. If I'm not mistaken,
you're right.
Looking at the stats, 14th rebound for Deion Carson. This guy's in the backcourt. He's handling the ball with 14 rebounds.
Have been a lot of rebound opportunities today.
Absolutely.
35 turnovers in the game.
A game like this can make a lot of great rebounds.
His turnover number 36 was just barely avoided right there. Garrett. And he gets stripped by Kleber. Hamilton. The floater. Won't stay down. Hamilton stays down that time, and he'll get to the line.
See, Mike, again, Notre Dame is allowing Connecticut to hang around, and then you get a few breaks like this, a couple of three-point play opportunities, you're right back in it. And Hamilton did a great job of staying with it and beating the big guys by getting that ball to the glass as quick as he could. Big advantage, too, as an offensive player, when you're coming down, you do lean forward like that, the defender's moving back, you're coming to the ball, so you end up getting great position to follow up your own shot.
Hamilton makes his free throw, and we've got a game again with 7:46 left to go. It's Notre Dame 51 and the UConn Huskies 47. 7:45 left to go here in a 4-point game. 51-47. Notre Dame has the lead. Huskies making some noise after the Irish had opened up a 10-point lead again here in the second half. They had one briefly in the first half. It'll be Garrity, Hickey, Weish, White, and Bell on the floor for the Irish. Moore, Hamilton, Kleber, Freeman, and Carson for the Huskies.
So right now that pressure by Connecticut getting a little bit more aggressive, and Notre Dame very careless with the basketball. Diagonal passes, and they have to get people coming to the ball. Everybody's running away from it right now.
I've counted 5 passes here without Garrity touching it. And there's a turnover. Don't understand that.
No, absolutely not. Notre Dame has to execute their offense, work it around, and get the ball to Pat Garrity.
Look at that shooting. 5 of 25 against 10 of 17, and yet the lead is only 4 points at 51-47. Moore trying to create something off the dribble. That's going to be well short. Rebound taken down by White. Gets it ahead. Garrity. Good
nice
things
pass.
happen. Bell was a little slow getting to the glass here.
That's right. Garrity read that play perfectly. He knew where Bell was, and as soon as he got the ball, directed it right to him. Look at his pass right there. Great court awareness, but Bell took his time getting down there. That should have been a wide open layup. The defense should never have had a chance to make that play. So one thing, you can't relax. You can't relax when you're coming down. Run those lanes, get down, get to the bucket.
Bell is going to get himself some free throws out of this anyway.
I think I'd rather have a layup, though, Mike.
Yeah, especially when you're a 28% free throw shooter in the league. Although he looked pretty smooth on that one.
Hey, watch what he does on his free throws. His feet are very close together, and then he leans forward into his shot. And when you do that, obviously your percentage is going to be down because your balance is off. But never mind what I have to say, because
that's okay.
He made them. Now, of course, if we would have talked about how percentages were great, he would have missed it.
It's a 6-point game at 53-47. Hamilton gets his own miss again. The double clutch won't go down, and Garrity comes away with it.
Garrity keeps coming in there and hanging around, doesn't leave, doesn't take off, make sure that rebound is pulled down. He's got 11 boards in the game.
Weish looking for the dagger there with the 3. Moore, little crossover move. Moore keeps on trucking. Now tries to dish it back to Voskuhl, who had left the spot.
That's a good point, Mike. I think it's very important for players to realize when a penetration is made, where do you have to be to give that passer the best option? Of course, Moore left his feet and threw the ball. You don't want to get in a situation like that, but you have to think of angles and where the best possible place is for you to get your shot and where that passer might be looking.
White just wants the ball over the top and takes it now as he will bring it up against Moore's pressure. We're approaching 6 minutes to go in a 6-point game. White looking for Garrett.
They're too close together, Mike. Admiral White has to back up, give some more space for Garrity to operate right there, because what Ricky Moore is doing, he's dropping down so low, there's no room to make the pass.
Garrity pops out. White doesn't go to him. Now he does. Garrity fakes it. Back to White on the baseline. Little 12-footer goes down.
That's the spot. Admiral White likes that short corner jump shot we talked about earlier. He hit a couple of big ones against St. John's, and Garrity showing the confidence in his teammate to give him the ball to make that shot. But you see, that's that point again, Mike, that good things happen when Garrity touches the ball. Whether he's scoring or making the pass, he will make the right play more often than not.
With the exception that Austin Crozier might be a little more explosive to the hoop, he and Garrity are almost the same player.
Exactly.
And there's a 3 outside as Ricky Moore continues to keep the Huskies alive. It's a 5-point game, 17 for Moore.
You have to wonder, again, if you're the focus defensively, who you're going to focus in on. Moore's the one guy that's been hitting the shots. And Notre Dame's going to be able to maintain possession. Jody Sylvester saying still White ball. But he's the one guy that's hitting the shots, Mike. So I don't care about the other guys right now. If I'm on defense, I'm going to focus in and make sure that Ricky Moore does not get any clean looks. Everything's going to have to put up off the dribble No spot-up jump shots whatsoever.
Derek Manor, a mad little dash to the scorer's table there, able to get himself in. Irish able to punch the ball inside successfully here the last 15 minutes. Manor, White, Hickey, Miller, and Garrity on the floor for Notre Dame. Hamilton, Freeman, Carson, Voskuhl, and Moore for Connecticut. Under 5 minutes now to go. White.
And do not leave your feet to make the pass. One of the golden rules of basketball. If you spin, you turn. If you stay on your feet, that pass will still be there if it's there. If it's not there, you can always have the option of getting it to somebody else. But as soon as you leave your feet, unless you're Michael Jordan, can read the newspaper before you come back down, you're in trouble.
UConn a chance to cut into this 5-point Notre Dame lead with 4.5 to play. Looking inside, Freeman trying to hold off Garrity. Voskuhl flashes to the ball. Moore again. No. A rebound taken down there on the baseline by White.
I still think it's dangerous giving him those shots. I think White should crowd him, force him to put the ball on the floor.
Irish will use clock here every possession. They get it into Garrity in the paint. Garrity spins. Tried to bank that one home. Manor, a great job in the offensive glass. Then got stripped. Freeman the loose ball to Hamilton. Oh, that's... I'm not sure the shot that Jim Calhoun was looking for on that particular possession.
That's the play you're going to, when things are going well, you're going to take that alley-oop.
Great hustle play by Garrity there to come up with the loose ball. Hickey really wants the ball down low. He had Carson in a mismatch.
But I think it's a good decision not to look to him right now. If you're Edmore White, you have time. Hickey might feel he has the advantage and force up a shot. It'll be too quick. But did you see, even when Garrity took that last shot, Mike, for the Irish, there were 2 or 3 defenders on him, and this time he makes it. Boy, this kid's a tough player. But he had 2 or 3 defenders on him last time. As a result, Derek Manor was able to get that offensive rebound. So again, Garrity really attracting a lot of attention. He's got 20 points, 12 boards, 5 assists in the game.
Garrity has gone past Rich Branning on the all-time Notre Dame list. He's going to go by a lot of folks before he leaves here. Carson unable to hit. Voskuhl can't keep alive. Hickey may have hurt himself there as he hit a wet spot or something. His feet just went right out from under him. But Phil is quick to his feet. And with 2:59 to go in the game, we've got a timeout. It's Notre Dame 57. The Huskies 50. We are back for the final 3 minutes here as Notre Dame has a 7-point lead. Time for us to take a look at our Pizza Hut Making It Great plays of the game. Got Garrity and Derek Manor with the first of them. And the left-handed jam along the baseline. Here's Mr. Garrity. Very smooth on the jump shot. Garrity and Manor. And Pizza Hut making it great again and again.
And we're going to be talking about this guy, Pat Garrity, again and again, Mike. He is just a tremendous basketball player. You know what I like about him, too? He's always looking. He wants to make the big plays. Come down the stretch. Some of the guys might shy away from the basketball, but he wants it. Not afraid. There, look at that. He almost makes a defensive play, except he had his left hand on the back of Freeman as he reached around.
And that's the first personal foul on Garrity.
And he plays hard, too.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not like he's taking a break on defense.
He's involved.
15, Kevin Freeman, shooting one of the most.
Freeman able to make the free throw. Key for Jim Calhoun here.
Jim Calhoun, very intense. Saw him come out with a couple of timeouts, looking right at his guys, going, come on, let's go. Getting right into him.
Freeman a nice stroke. 9 overall now for Kevin Freeman on the day.
See, everybody's running away from the ball right now. Good job, Miller, to come back. Notre Dame cannot relax against this pressure. Everybody has to watch the basketball and keep coming to it. And again, diagonal pass is so important, but Admore White doing a great job of just dribbling Carson right up court.
Garrity comes out high. And the foul, I think, is going to be on Hickey, setting an illegal screen. And so the Huskies have it down 5 with 2:27 to go.
You know, Mike, that's sometimes as much a fault of the man using the screen as it is the screener. Pete Miller has to be patient and allow Hickey to set the screen. He has to wait for it, set his man up, if you're just running all over the place trying to get open and the screener's coming down, he's trying to do a good job of getting you open, that he's going to possibly move to make sure he bumps your man, because even these coaches telling him, hey, you set the screen.
Moore knocks down the front end of the 1-and-1. 18 for Ricky Moore. Well, maybe the Huskies should just shoot threes all the time. Moore makes his free throws. 19 for Ricky Moore. More importantly, it's a one-possession game now with 2:27 to go, 57-54, and Garrity has to use a timeout. As just what you pointed out, Leo, none of the Notre Dame players were coming to the basketball. Let's see if John McLeod now is going to use it as a 20 or a full timeout. He says let's make it a 20. 2 minutes and 27 seconds left to play, and a chance to remind you some good Big East basketball coming up next week at noontime. The Red Storm of St. John's and Rutgers are going to go at it. That'll be next Saturday, the 15th. And then on the 16th, it'll be Scooney Penn and the Boston College Eagles against Shaheen Holloway and the Seton Hall Pirates. Be sure and check your local listing.
That St. John's Rutgers game should be a good one. Mike, Rutgers hit that big shot right at the end to beat St. John's the last time they met.
Manor is trapped. Gets it back to Hickey.
Gotta get that ball over half court.
That was a nice pass there by Hickey. White trying to make the feed to Garrity, and a push is called. It might be on Carson or Moore, one of the two.
Good job of Phil Hickey not panicking in that pressure situation. As you mentioned, Mike made a nice little bounce pass to Admore White, who accelerated up court and found Pat Garrity.
If he hadn't made that pass up court, they were going to get caught in the backcourt 10-second by
Exactly. Now again, look for Pat Garrity if you're Notre Dame.
Let's see how much clock the Irish try to use. They've turned the ball over so much. They're kind of flirting with danger, as you can see, with just about every pass as Carson comes up with it.
Yeah, that's so difficult for the coach. If you're John McLeod, you're watching turnover after turnover. You work on it every day in practice. You know what you're supposed to do, but that's something you just can't control.
Under 2 minutes to play. Moore outside. Carson inside. Freeman the catch. Kicks it back to Moore. Ricky Moore for the tie. No. Freeman an offensive rebound. No. Voskuhl over the top. But Garrity gets the basketball and Voskuhl gets the foul.
Great job, Pat Garrity once again getting inside. Good position. And when he grabs onto that basketball, he gets two hands in that ball, Mike, and says, hey, this is mine. Good job there not to foul. And then look at this, Voskuhl coming right over the back of Garrity, but he's got two hands in that thing, and he's not letting go. Speaking of Voskuhl, Mike, he's done a pretty good job quietly on the glass. 10 rebounds in the game. Not much of a factor offensively, but he's been going to the boards.
UConn not yet over the limit as you look at the double-double that Pat Garrity has put up. I believe that's his 11th of the season. Garrity looking, pass, picked off. Again, no one coming to the basketball for Notre Dame. Freeman out of bounds, and fortunate.
Well, I thought he got fouled on that play, Mike. I don't know if I'd look at it from this angle. I thought it was Derek Manor reached from behind and looked like he grabbed some arm as well as the ball.
Often on plays like that, too, the ball goes off the offensive player.
Exactly.
Moore gets it into Carson. Hamilton's going to take it. Tie game!
Oh, man, that was a tough shot right there. Derek Manor gave him just enough room, and Hamilton, no hesitation. Again, nobody coming to the basketball, leaving Garrity stuck on the baseline.
Finally, it's Miller looking to bring it up against pressure, gives it off to White. White, with 2 seconds to spare, is over the half-court line.
White really has to make every effort he can, Mike, on the out of bounds to make sure he comes and takes it. He's the one that has to get that basketball.
Miller got a nice screen. Now kicks it back out. Garrity. No. Rebound to Connecticut. And UConn, with under a minute, has a chance to take the lead.
They stayed in there, Mike. The UConn Huskies battled in there, hung in there on the glass, did it defensively.
20 seconds on the shot clock. Moore gets a little screen. Goes the other way. Kicks it. Inside, Freeman, a hook shot, no, loose. Voskuhl is there. Voskuhl, other side, no. Ball tipped. Manor dives for it. Hamilton, no. And David Dodge, a foul underneath. And from the look on Pat Garrity's face, it's going against the Irish.
Some great scoring opportunities. Voskuhl doing an unbelievable job to keep that ball alive. Let's see if we can find out where that foul is. See Garrity right there trying to get on Freeman, and that must be where the foul was.
He called a push right there. You're right. 20.8 seconds to go. We've got a timeout on the court. Notre Dame 57, UConn 57. We are locked at 57 with 20.8 seconds to go. If you are into numbers, this is really a crazy game here today. Connecticut has attempted 72, count them, 72
That's unbelievable,
field goals in this game. They have made 17 of them. They have taken 36 more shots than Notre Dame.
And Notre Dame has shot almost 44%. When you look at those numbers, you go, there's no game here. There is no game
That's
here.
Right.
But 25 turnovers also for the Fighting Irish have really hurt them. Great job on the glass, too, for UConn, 50-39, and a lot of those coming on the offensive glass.
UConn still with a couple of fouls to give, and still a total of 3 timeouts. Notre Dame has 2 of them here, and no doubt they will be using them. Let's see, Freeman or Voskuhl. Freeman was trying to get himself to the free throw line. Instead, it will be Voskuhl.
But when we saw the replay, Mike, Pat Garrity was right behind Freeman. He's the only one that he could have.
Absolutely. In and out. Hickey with the miss. Irish have a chance to go for the win. White and Moore. Remember, he had 2 fouls to give. There's one of them with 10.5 on the clock. And the Huskies can still give another. And now Notre Dame is going to use a timeout as John McLeod, aware of the foul situation that Connecticut has, can anticipate to some degree what the Huskies are going to do.
Absolutely. And I think the one thing, though, if you're Jim Calhoun, the one thing you're going to guarantee is Pat Garrity does not get a look. No matter what. Somebody else has to, exactly. Somebody else has to win the game for Notre Dame, not Pat Garrity.
That magic marker right there belongs to John McLeod as he is about to map out the play. You 4 guys set a screen for Pat.
And then get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
Let him shoot.
That's right. And let him take whoever he's got one-on-one, and we'll all be very happy.
Well, they do a lot of double screening. They'll send 2 guys probably across the lane. They've done that earlier in the game on many occasions to try to free up Pat Garrity coming across the lane. Try to get him in a post-up situation, but as we saw earlier, they had some problems with spacing, and it was tough to get the ball into him. But UConn has to be in a complete denial situation with Pat Garrity.
Notre Dame only 2 field goals and 6 points in the last 11 minutes of this game. If you're UConn, do you encourage a little bit, let the inbounds pass happen, let a second or 2 go, and then use that foul you get
I think if you could try to get a quick steal right off the bat, yes. But if you don't have something that looks right, like you get a clean look at it right away, foul right away. Well,
nope, apparently not. White throws it up. No rebound. Freeman in traffic. Freeman for the game. Overtime.
Admore White had the look, but as we said, Pat Garrity did not.
So at the end of regulation here at the Joyce Center, the Irish and the Huskies are deadlocked at 57. Let's take a look at those final 7 seconds.
See, Admore White, nobody picked up. He came off over the screen, and nobody was there to help. He could have taken a little bit more time on that shot. Just not able to get it to drop, and Freeman, looking at the clock, launches the last ditch effort. Now, did he call glass?
He almost broke the glass, is what he almost did. All right, so the Irish really in an offensive drought here over those last 11 minutes. We'll try to pick it up here in the 5-minute overtime. The Huskies, despite just horrendous shooting here this afternoon, 23% shooting for UConn from the field. And Notre Dame shooting 43% from the field, which is very good against a Husky team that's been keeping people in the mid-30s, challenging the national record for field goal percentage on the defensive end.
That's right, number 1 in the conference, number 3rd nationally. Defensive field goal percentage, 35% for all their opponents. So keeping that in mind, Notre Dame shot the ball very well. And above what they shoot in Big East play. Notre Dame, although they're 44% of the season in conference play, right around 41%. So there's a little drop off there. As you see with a lot of teams in conference play, there's a drop off because of the intense competition.
Nothing has come easily for Jim Calhoun this year.
I think Jim Calhoun should be very happy they're in overtime.
Oh, absolutely.
Based on all the numbers we've talked about, Mike, there's no way UConn should be in this ball game if you looked at numbers alone. But they fought hard and they've deserved to be here just by the effort alone.
Hickey is able to control the tap, and Notre Dame will get the opportunity to score first here in overtime. It is White, Miller, Garrity, Hickey, and Manor. Garrity with the touch, the basket, and the foul.
There's some experience right there. Garrity ran Freeman off the screen, and as soon as he saw he had that penetration to the basket, watch what he does. He stops, collects himself, good ball fake, get the defense up in the air, and go for that three-point play opportunity.
4th personal foul on Jake Voskuhl, and that was a pretty good pop that Garrity took there and still powered it up and in.
He's a strong kid.
Yes, he is. 23 for Garrity, 3-point Notre Dame lead. We are in overtime here at the Joyce Center. Ricky Moore, who has been the offensive spark most of the afternoon for the Huskies, pulls it back out. Hamilton coming around a Voskuhl screen. Manor able to stay right with him. Voskuhl calling for the ball on Hickey down the post. Moore kicks it. Carson's going to take it. Rebound taken down by White.
You got Moore and Hamilton are the ones hitting the shots right now for Connecticut, and I think they're the ones that have to be getting the good looks. Carson really struggling in the game, doing a great job on the glass, but only 1 of 10 shooting.
Miller to White, down to 10 seconds on the shot clock. White in a little bit of trouble in the corner. Finally inside Hickey. Hickey turns. Oh, big shot out of Phil Hickey.
Oh, that was huge. Phil Hickey off balance. Voskuhl right in his face.
And I'm thinking to myself, how can you possibly have a possession, Notre Dame, and not have Garrity touch it? And Hickey drains the jump shot.
Well, Hickey's had a solid ball game.
Oh, he sure has.
12 points, 6 boards.
Big possession here for Connecticut. Voskuhl, and that would be a foul on Hickey.
That's a tough break. That was just great hustle by the big fella going after the ball. Once he got it, Voskuhl ended up tripping him.
Turned into a clip.
But you look at those numbers. He said 12 points, 6 boards in the game, and he's had a lot of positive effects on the court. On the season, averaging 2.7 points, 2.9 rebounds. Wow, impressive.
3rd foul on Hickey. Hardnet's trying to get back in the game for the Huskies.
Check out the hands right here. Good hands. Hickey gets a piece of that ball and diving for it, picks up the foul.
Richard Hamilton limping to the Connecticut bench. Hardnet will come in to replace him. Jake Voskuhl at the free throw line.
60% free throw shooter.
Yeah, he's not a bad looking free throw shooter at all. Had a chance to make a big one down the stretch and didn't, but he'll make a lot before he's done. Looks pretty comfortable at the line.
Got a good release on the shot. Very wide stance. Might want to tighten that up a little bit, but good release.
Used all of it that time, didn't it? 62-58.
I don't know how much rim is left up there, Mike.
That one, a little long.
And mentioned we have to repaint the rims earlier. I think they're going to be replaced.
Manor finds White. Under 3 minutes now to play in overtime. Notre Dame the ball and a 4-point lead at 62-58.
Good call. Jody Sylvester jumped right in there. Freeman was really leaning on Pat Garrity. Pat Garrity was trying to get the post position, and as he released and moved out of the post, Freeman was still hanging on, and Garrity was starting to show a little frustration, and Jody Sylvester jumped in there before anything could develop. Garrity deals with that on a day-to-day basis. Everybody is very physical with him, try to push him, although I don't think today's game, in terms of Garrity, was as physical as he's used to playing, because he's playing against a lot of younger players where he has a size advantage, strength advantage, and of course the experience.
Young is going to check back into the game for Notre Dame, and Hamilton is coming back in for Connecticut. Carson will leave.
This is where you really get hurt, not having a player like Kurt King. With his numbers, 12 points, about 8 boards a game in the frame. You have a big guy, strong, can take up space. Not having him in the lineup against a team like Notre Dame that has the big bodies really hurts.
Break there for the Huskies as Garrity misses the front end on the free throw. 62-58, a 4-point game. Moore. White jumps out defensively on him. Hamilton comes to the ball. He's got Manor. He'll remember Manor.
And Manor's been playing for a long time with 4 fouls.
Oh, big shot out of Hardnett, and he got fouled. A chance for a 4-point play, and he can tie the game at the line.
Wow, this is just been incredible. Pete Miller, another one of the things you just never do in a game is foul a guy in the 3-point shot. You can see catches Hardnett right on the wrist, and Hardnett nailing the jump shot. Only 2 for 8, but this is a big one right here.
And now Notre Dame thinking they were in pretty good shape,
and they were
with a 2-possession lead.
Shape.
Yeah, they were. And they had Garrity at the line in a 4-point lead. All of a sudden, 1 possession later, Hardnett can tie the game at the stripe. Enter Klaber coming back in for Connecticut. He'll take a spot there, looking for the rebound. Should Hardnett miss? 2:30 to go in overtime. We're tied.
One of the things Jim Calhoun told us before the game, he says you look around the teams around the country and what they do, and they do it with defense, the most successful teams. And he says this team statistically may be the best defensive team he's had in 11 years at UConn.
He's had some good ones. Huskies today with 10 3-point field goals and only 8 2-point field goals.
That's a very tough shot. You wonder why Pete Miller would be taking that shot. Again, you have Pat Garrity. He's got 23 points in the game, and Miller hasn't touched the ball in a while. I said he's streaky, but you don't start out with a 3 when you haven't touched it in an awful long time.
But when you grew up in South Bend, you got to have one chance to take a shot like that in a game like this. You're a senior. Come on, man.
That's right. From South Bend High School, St. Joseph's High School, right here in South Bend. A former walk-on.
White comes up with a Hamilton min. Tied at 62. Under 2 to go in overtime. Let's see if Garrity touches it this trip. White. Oh, he rattles home a 3.
Oh, yeah, Admore White has come up big the last couple of games with those shots.
White with 9, but none bigger than those 3. Ricky Moore will look to answer. Inside the line. Moore is short. Voskel's follow won't go. And they got Voskel over the back in the rebounding action.
Oh, I don't know about that one, Mike. I thought that was an unbelievable effort by the freshman Jake Voskel to go on the offensive glass. Get another look at this. Check out the effort coming right in here. And Derek Manor came in after Voskel went up. And tough break for the young man. I thought that was just a tremendous play.
Absolutely. I agree with you. That was not...
I mean, it looked like a foul after the fact, but you look where Derek Manor came from. He was right out of the play, and he came flying in.
That's the 5th foul on Voskel, so Jim Calhoun will use the time he has to substitute for Voskel to get a free timeout with his club.
11 boards in the game, Mike. Jake Voskel.
He's going to be a good one.
Oh, Jim Calhoun loves the fact that he's got lively feet. He's quick in his feet. He's like, unlike a lot of big guys, he's not slow-footed. He can move. He can get to places like that rebound. That was just quickness getting to the ball.
Can't teach that.
Absolutely not.
As much as coaches would like to think they can.
You can work in the footwork, but you can't teach quickness.
All right, Manor here. Big front end of the 1-and-1. Rebound out of bounds. Last to touch it, one of the Huskies. And that's a huge break as Notre Dame now gets the ball. A fresh 35 on the clock with 1:31 to go in the game, leading by 3.
That is a big break. You know, talk about Admore White. His production in the second half, 9 points. Also, no assists in the first half. Like 5 assists coming all in the second half as well. So the point guard for Notre Dame really making up for a slow first half.
John McLeod calling the play off the Notre Dame bench. Manor in a bit of trouble now. Will have to take it off the dribble himself. Finds Miller. Irish can just about take it under a minute. They get it to Garrity. Garrity to Miller, 6 on the shot clock. Miller, nice screen from Garrity. Can't make the shot. Garrity the follow.
Oh man, big time rebound. What an effort by Pat Garrity. And then getting rid of that basketball too, not committing a travel, getting the ball. Watch this, all one hand, all heart right here. Look at that. Tremendous play. And then get the ball to your teammate before you turn it over.
The foul on Freeman, that is his 4th big free throw here by Garrity. But first, Connecticut is going to use a timeout.
14 boards now in the game for the big fella from Monument, Colorado, Pat Garrity.
5 assists on the game, too. A very, very solid effort out of Garrity, who, if not this year, next year is going to be a lot of people's preseason pick, maybe for Big East Player of the Year.
Absolutely. You know, he said he's, you know, a lot of pros starting to look at him, you know, because of the things he can do. We talk about shooting, a lack of shooters coming into the NBA game. Here's a guy that can shoot. Mobility, had a great summer too. The Notre Dame team toured Italy, averaged 29 points a game. So you can bet some of the European teams are going to be keeping an eye on his career.
Rick Pitino, I know for one, thinks that Pat Garrity can play on the next level, and Rick usually has a pretty good feel for those things.
I think he's got a good idea of what can work. Having a good run with the New York Knicks.
All right, with 56.6 to go, and Garrity going to the free throw line, we're going to have to think about what Connecticut's going to do here. As Jim Calhoun obviously is not expecting Garrity to miss both, so we're probably involved in a 2-possession game with 56 seconds to go.
And I think what Connecticut wants to do is get that basketball and push it down as quick as they can. Again, try to get, don't just go for the 3. Try to get whatever good look, the best look you can, and then you're in that situation where you go in quick steal foul situations now.
Notre Dame, on the other hand, no doubt will try to make Connecticut use as much of the clock as they can on their possession.
Well, Pat Garrity from the free throw line today, 4 of 7. I should say 9 of 10.
Yes, you should.
Yeah, just because the monitor's on your side, Mike. Come on. Come on.
All right, let's see if Garrity can indeed make this a 2-possession game for Connecticut. Not much doubt there.
A lot of cool, too. He walked up to the line, says, give me the ball. I got a game to finish here. Got to catch dinner back at the dorms.
And we mentioned this is a legitimate academic All-America here at Notre Dame, about a 3.7 average in biochemistry. A junior who's not talking about going in any NBA drafts anywhere, and that, when the time comes, it comes, but he's coming back to Notre Dame for his senior year, which is very, very good news for John McLeod.
And you know what, Mike, with all the frustration he's endured when other players haven't stepped up at times in the defenses he's faced, he's never complained or whined about that. He just keeps playing.
LeBlanc misses the 3. Garrity a rebound, gets it quickly to White.
They have to foul. UConn's got to foul quicker.
Up to Miller, ahead to Garrity. Back to Miller. And finally, getting there to foul is LeBlanc, but Connecticut gave away a good 8 to 10 seconds.
Jim Calhoun was up yelling, saying, hey, you got to foul, but Connecticut just tried to play straight defense, trying to go for the steal.
We can get a shot of the left shoulder of Pete Miller at the free throw line.
Taking a few bumps and
I was
bruises,
just going
huh?
to say, you think
There we
these
go.
games are tough or what?
But you know what? It shows the difference in older players and younger players, Mike. It's on his left shoulder. He's right-handed. Come on now. Experienced players, experienced team would make sure all those